TIFU when I reacted positively to being catcalled, by user got catcalled. Random throwaway. This morning my GF, 25, and I, 2 am, passed a group of young guys, late teens, more or less, as we were walking down the street. One of the guys waited until we had our backs toward the group before shouting nice ass. At that moment, my GF turned around and yelled grow the fuck up. The loudmouth guy laughed like an evil anime character and said I was talking to your boyfriend. The whole group was like oh. My GF looked at me and asked why I was smiling. I didn't even realize I was smiling until she pointed it out. I said no one has ever complimented my ass before. My GF said being catcalled is not a compliment and asked if I was gonna walk away without saying anything. I said if I was gonna open my mouth, it would be to say thank you for appreciating my ass. My GF and I did not see eye to eye about the situation at all and now there is unnecessary tension between us. TLDR I got catcalled by a group of random guys in front of my GF. I took it as a compliment, which upset my GF, and now I'm in the doghouse apparently. The limited information in my post seemed to be more than enough evidence to convince some of you that there was zero possibility that the catcalling was directed at me. Before you file it under concrete facts, please consider the following details. A. One of the guys, not the loudmouth, did have a rainbow/pride face mask, albeit around his wrist, but still, one of them, if not most of them, might not be totally straight. B. I noticed loudmouth guy eyeballing me when my GF and I walked past, and I actually mentioned that to my GF afterwards, but it didn't mean much to her. C. My ass is fucking awesome and it's totally plausible that it attracted the eyes of sex-positive young people. That being said, it's also possible that those guys did in fact catcall my GF and used my ass to push her buttons. TIFU by joking with my wife, by user BMC00. This happened a few years ago. My wife is pretty crafty, always making picture montages and stuff like that. One day she made a pretty cool looking shadow box, and inside of it says something like the best dates in our lives, and has 4 dates. The dates are our anniversary, and the kids' birth dates. I didn't realize it, but here's the foo. I jokingly said what about April 16, 2003, I literally just threw out a random date. She asked what that date was, and I just said think about it, you'll figure it out. A couple days later she asked me again, and my daughter was in the room. I said you haven't figured it out. My daughter quickie caught on that I was just messing with wife, and she agreed that it will come to her why that date is important. A couple of days went by again, and wife has the shadow box on her desk about to take it apart. She was crying because she just couldn't figure out why that date was so important that me and my daughter had known about it. We felt really bad and fessed up that it was just a random date and we were messing with her. So now every April 16th, we have a little celebration for absolutely nothing. TLDR, threw out a random date telling wife it was important to our family, she couldn't figure out why and cried a lot. TIFU by asking my boyfriend, M28, if he is buff yet, by user Tika_Jameson. My boyfriend who is very overweight started working out 2 weeks ago. I've been away celebrating Chinese New Year with my relatives for about a week, and I kept getting snide comments about my boyfriend's appearance and how I could do better the whole time I was with them, which is why my boyfriend's health was on my mind. I just got back from my hometown. I'm going to visit his family later, so I called him up to confirm the plans and jokingly asked if he had suddenly became more buff in the 1 week I hadn't seen him. He got really upset and said he hated the fact that I'm putting so much pressure on him when he only just started exercising. I tried to apologize and explain that I didn't mean to pressure him, but was worried that I would hurt his feelings more, so I was silent for a bit thinking what to say. He hung up after I apologized, but he was clearly still upset about it. I have to go to his house later, and I'm not sure what to do now, things feel so awkward. TLDR, I hurt my boyfriend's feelings by indirectly calling him fat. TIFU by vapping during a video interview, by user ShaFuckingHeyTesma. I had been preparing for this interview for weeks and was feeling confident going into it. I had my notes ready, my resume printed out, and my camera turned on. But as soon as the interview started, my nerves got the best of me. The interviewer and other members of the team were discussing matters that were not relevant to my position, and I found myself getting restless. To distract myself, I started reading through my notes. In the midst of all this, I completely forgot that my camera was still on, and out of stress, I reached for my vape and took a puff. It was only when the interviewer asked me a question and I couldn't find my vape that I realized my mistake. I had been vapping on camera the entire time. I tried to play it off, saying that it was just a habit, but the damage had been done. I could see the disappointment and disapproval on the interviewer's face. Needless to say, I did not get the job. TLDR, vapped my way out of a job interview. Edit, a lot of comments are saying it's not a big deal to vap on 2023 when you're at home. I disagree. An interview is a chance to give a great first impression. And I was blowing smoke on a screen while they just watched me. It was embarrassing, cringy, and I deserve not to get that. Worst part is I don't even vap that often. And I'm not addicted. After I lost my last vap, I didn't vap for a few months and I only bought another one because I just happened to come across one. Anyways, I threw it away. TIFU by telling my best friend she should date me, by user deleted. I, M32, have a close friend, F31, I've known for about half a year. We spend tons of time together, text daily, call each other when we're stressed, we'll hang out and talk for hours, and often study together and then get food and drinks afterwards. The secret hanging over our friendship has been that I've had a huge crush on her since I met her, before we became friends. A week ago, she broke up with her boyfriend and I've been comforting her as she processes it. Today, I was studying together and we ended up talking about our respective experiences with heartbreak and how messed up it makes you. She then started talking about how she doesn't want to start dating again but she thinks it's important that she puts herself out there. She told me that a friend of hers suggested she try blind dates. And asked me what I think. My idiot brain could think of no response other than brutal inappropriate honesty and said I think you should date me instead. She was clearly shocked by this, and after saying she felt very uncomfortable, told me that she'd rather just be friends. We kept studying together, I was going to leave but she told me to stay. And at one point she asked me to watch her stuff as she goes to the washroom and when she came back she was clearly crying. We parted on apparently friendly terms but I feel terrible and guilty, not for what I said but for when and how I said it. TLDR, I told my close friend a week after her breakup that I want to date her and caused her to cry.